Welcome to the Explainer. Look, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed right before stepping onto the competitive amateur ballroom floor, trust me, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to completely map out the DanceSport tier system. We're talking everything from newcomer all the way up to open. The goal here, so you can stop stressing about all these confusing labels and just get back to focusing on what actually matters, your dancing.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the DanceSport level system, what it's like starting out as a newcomer, progressing through Novice and Intermediate, and reaching that open level. Then we'll talk about navigating those tricky eligibility rules, and finally, how to choose your perfect fit. Section 1. The DanceSport level system. Where do you belong?
You know, it's a super common reality for so many dancers. Honestly, the absolute hardest part of getting started in DanceSport isn't even mastering the technique itself, it's just trying to understand the level system. I mean, you spend countless hours perfecting your frame, right? Only to totally freeze up when you look at a registration form. Novice, intermediate, open. And the crazy part is, these rules can vary wildly depending on the specific federation or even just the event organizer you're dealing with.
So what do these labels actually mean in practice? Well, decoding these categories is absolutely essential. We really need to figure out how to find the perfect environment for your growth, rather than just kind of guessing, checking a box, and hoping for the best. All right, moving into Section 2, starting out as a newcomer, beginning the journey. Now, if you are just starting out, this right here is your home base. Listen, newcomer isn't about executing some flawless world-class routine, not at all. It's really designed to be a supportive environment for dancers who are super early in their journey. You're basically just learning the ropes. You're figuring out how to navigate those fast-paced heat formats safely, you're getting a feel for floor craft, and honestly, you're just experiencing how your body reacts to pure adrenaline. It's essentially a regulated training ground, and it strictly limits entrance to folks who have virtually no prior competition results, so it's a very safe space. Which brings us to Section 3, Novice and Intermediate, stepping up the ranks. Okay, so you know how the heats work now, and you're ready for that next challenge. Enter the novice level. Being a novice indicates you've really developed a consistent competitive baseline. Now the judges are looking for stronger technique, sharper timing, and a much clearer frame. Meaning, you aren't just collapsing your upper body the very second you have to move quickly. It's really all about reliable execution under pressure, proving to the judges that you can hold your own and keep your posture totally intact from the very first measure all the way to your final bow. Now, while novice is all about finding that consistent baseline, intermediate, wow. Intermediate expects a really significant leap forward. Actually, this is notoriously one of the absolute hardest transitions in all of amateur dance. Here you need polished presentation and a deep, deep partner cohesion. Because you're competing against dancers with some serious, meaningful experience now, the judging shifts dramatically. They are heavily, heavily scrutinizing the finer details. We're talking your exact timing accuracy, the true quality of your body movement through the floor, and how flawlessly you and your partner move together as a single unit. It's a big step up. Next up, Section 4, reaching the open level, the top amateur pathway. For a lot of you, open is exactly the destination you've been working toward. But what actually distinguishes open? Well, there are far fewer restrictions based strictly on your prior results, and because of that, it allows a much broader range of skill levels to compete together. But hey, do not let that fool you for a second. These events generally feature highly trained dancers who compete all the time and have undeniable competitive readiness. When you enter open, you are stepping onto the floor with the veterans. And because of that widespread of experience, the performance standard is exceptionally high right from the very first note of music. Succeeding in open requires incredibly sharp technique, deeply ingrained musicality, way more advanced styling, and the seamless execution of really complex variations. Make no mistake, you are out there with the absolute best of the amateur ranks, and the judges' expectations totally match that reality.
Moving on to Section 5, navigating the eligibility rules, checking the fine print.
Here's a crucial tip. A newcomer in one region might not map perfectly to a newcomer in another. So before you commit and pay those registration fees, you absolutely must check the constraints. Are there restrictions based on your past results and titles? What about the total number of years you've spent competing? Organizers also heavily factor in your formal partnerships, your age, and discipline constraints, like juniors and seniors almost always have their own unique groupings. And local federation differences play a massive, massive role here. So always, always consult the specific rulebook for that event to avoid any super stressful surprises on competition day.
Finally, Section 6, choosing your perfect fit, a practical approach. Whenever you're in doubt about where to register, you have to balance your ego with your education. If you are consistently struggling with the core elements, things like timing, basic technique, or just maintaining your shape through a full routine, it is highly recommended to stay at your current level. Think of it like throwing down an anchor to build stability. Build that confidence up. There is zero shame in taking the time to truly master the fundamentals. However, on the flip side, if you are frequently outperforming your field and your results clearly show you're ready, well then it's time to ignite the rocket and move up to the next challenge.
So this all builds into a highly practical approach that relies heavily on observation and coaching. Before you register for your next comp, try this. Simply attend an event as an observer, just to watch the heats. Be honest with yourself and compare the technical standard you see out there on the floor to your own current baseline. And then, rely on their team. Ask your coach to interpret your readiness. Trust me, they can give you an objective view that is far, far more valuable than just blindly chasing an open title just because it sounds impressive on paper.
Because ultimately, DanceSport levels are about fairness and growth. You're not just chasing a higher category, you're finding the competition environment that best matches your current stage and, most importantly, supports your next improvement. I love that idea because it perfectly grounds all these crazy technical rules into what truly matters: your sustainable long-term evolution as a dancer. So I want you to take a hard look at your own journey right now. Are you just letting your ego chase a higher category name, or are you actually ready to find the environment that truly supports your growth on the floor? I really want you to think about that before your next registration. All right, thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep practicing those fundamentals, stay focused, and I will see you next time.